So, I hate the NFL preseason, or well, should I say, it's complicated. On one hand, it's the biggest tease and biggest batch of overreactions you get before the season starts. And while you're watching it, you have to try and figure out what will translate to the season. Will any of it translate at all? So part of me tries to ignore all of the noise because disappointment may follow into the season. But at the same time, you are so thankful to have football back once again after being deprived of it since the Super Bowl or the USFL, depending on your flavor. And there are so many storylines to follow that make it worth tuning in. So in today's video, we're going to talk about those different storylines, specifically the rookie QBs, Michael Penix Jr., Drake May, and Joe Milton, JJ McCarthy. And I recorded this video before the JJ McCarthy news broke that he will be having surgery on his knee, so I hope that he has a full recovery. Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, and other QBs. And we will also start this video out by talking about the QB watch in Pittsburgh between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, because I think if we watch these stories closely, it will bring us just a little bit more joy during this preseason period. And hopefully after this video, you won't have to hate the preseason as much as I do, or you won't have this complicated relationship with the preseason just like I do. But before we get into that, don't forget to like this video, comment down below your thoughts and opinions on this preseason, as well as subscribe to the channel. We are on the way to 2.5K, and so with that, let's get into this video. So let's start with the only non-rookie QB storyline that is worth paying attention to right now, and that is good old Justin Fields versus Russell Wilson. And after getting traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, all eyes have been on this QB battle. Some say that it is not a battle at all, but when Russell Wilson got hurt just a few weeks ago and Fields saw some first squad reps, people started to lose their mind. This prompted the conversation to start all over again. And if I'm a Pittsburgh guy, I would honestly be ripping my hair out right now if I had any, because I'm bald, guys. I know you didn't know that. You rarely see me on camera, but I don't have any hair. Anyways, taking a look at Justin Fields' preseason performance, he went 5 of 6 for 67 yards, which isn't bad, but I'm more concerned about the sacks I saw him take. He also had 2 fumbles, which looked to be caused by bad snaps, but the only way that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win beyond having a winning record, because all they do is win and have winning records over there in Pittsburgh, is if one of these 2 QBs can break their bad habit of holding the ball way too long. Last season, both held the ball way too long. Some of that could be offensive line play. Some of that could be them not reading the defense fast enough. But either way it goes, holding the ball too long makes a QB look bad eventually, and it also makes the offensive line look bad. But this isn't a new criticism for Russell Wilson. This is something that we already knew. While he was in Seattle, he had the same thing going on. And this is especially true with guys who can make plays with their legs. Most of the time, they are more than likely being sacked than other QBs. And this is, in my opinion, because they know they can simply escape with their legs. The more and more I look at Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, they look like the same guy. One is just younger and more athletic, and the other guy has way more experience and a winning pedigree in Seattle. So Pittsburgh, pick your poison. Now, an interesting conversation to follow is the Joe Milton and Drake May discussion. Drake May only played 1 series in their preseason game against the Panthers, which is 1 more than Bryce Young, which I, as an Alabama fan, found very disappointing. But May looked okay, not really a lot to go off of, but Joe Milton did surprise me. Milton connected for 4 of his 6 pass attempts for 54 yards and a touchdown, while also racking up 22 yards on the ground. Coming into the season, if I had to pick a late round QB who may surprise someone down the line, I would have picked Jordan Travis. He can sit back, relax, and learn behind Aaron Rodgers, and maybe be ready when Aaron Rodgers decides to hang it up. And I will say, Joe Milton at Tennessee wasn't a guy that wowed me. He has a great arm, sometimes to his detriment, and really reminded me of a less talented Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe's deep ball accuracy is way better. They both did, however, struggle when it came to their mid-range and short passing accuracy, but in this game, he did okay. But I do not believe for a second that he is going to start over Drake May, at least not for right now. I've seen the rumblings, and it would take something drastic for him to start over Drake May at any point of the season. May has more upside, but for our entertainment, it is going to be something to watch as the season progresses. With that though, let's talk about some Heisman winners. First, Jayden Daniels, a guy who took the college football world by storm and increased his draft stock to the point where he became the 2nd overall pick. In his debut, he looked fine, only threw the ball 3 times, but we honestly can assume a lot lot from this beginning drive, and I will explain that in a second. But the first pass that he made was a jump shot over the running back's head. The defender was running right at him, but I still think he makes that throw 9.9 times out of 10 when the regular season begins. But once he relaxed, he was fine. He threw a great pass down the sideline for a catch. We saw a glimpse of what Washington will look like with his touchdown run, because as we saw in college, Jayden Daniels can turn on the Jets and get things done with his legs. But overall, fine debut. And so the only way to follow up the second overall pick is to talk about the first overall pick, another Heisman winner, Caleb Williams. We got to see a few things here in a short amount of time. Arm talent and strength, check. Off-script playmaking ability, check. A lot of rollouts. They obviously want to put him in position to extend plays with his legs and allow certain routes to get open. We also saw his ability to use his legs when the play breaks down completely. And even his incompletions look good. He had 2 dropped that I can remember and one in the corner of the end zone that was a safe attempt to Rome Odunze. And with a wide receiver room that is stacked and a good running back, I expect a pretty good season from Caleb Williams. He is a rookie and mistakes will happen, but his year should be solid. And I don't think that's asking too much. And with that, that means there is a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams to perform, but that's not necessarily the case for Mr. Michigan himself, JJ McCarthy, a guy I wasn't super high on coming out. The JJ hype in the draft started out of nowhere and continued until he was drafted by the Vikings. But at Michigan, he simply wasn't asked to do what other QBs have been asked to do. They were a run-first team, but with that being said, you can't deny this kid is a winner. And during that Michigan championship run, he made key plays when it counted. So with that being said, I saw some things I like. First, let's talk about poise in the pocket. I saw him drop a dime while getting absolutely rocked. He stayed strong and delivered the ball. When he throws the ball, he never lacks arm strength. Great zip on the ball. He can make every throw. Will he be able to read NFL defenses effectively going forward? I feel like that would be the main concern for him, because from what I saw, the guy can throw the ball wherever he wants to, whenever he wants to. 11 of 17, 2 touchdowns, not too shabby. He had 1 pick while running for his life on 3rd down though. You can't throw a pick there trying to force it, but he is a rookie. His decision making on the fly will improve. I'm overall impressed. So let's talk about a guy I hated when he played with Auburn, but he did play his best with Oregon, and that's Bo Nix. He started out kind of shaky. His first throw may have been his worst throw, but overall he played okay after that. A few miscues here and there, but nothing that can't be fixed. He showed off the athleticism a little bit in this game as well. You are going to be able to run a lot of RPO action with Bo Nix if you decide to. He went 15 of 21 with a touchdown on top of that. I would call that a solid outing. And with the starting QB being somewhat in question for the Broncos, I think letting Bo Nix be the guy is looking more and more like the right move. Now, for my favorite watch of the preseason, Penix Jr. And I'm not saying that he had the best outing in the preseason, but I just enjoy watching him throw the football. A guy who looked super comfortable out there. Wasn't afraid to hang in the pocket. A guy who I'm high on. Penix Jr. completed 9 of 16 passes for 104 yards in the Falcons' 20-13 loss to Miami. Now, we won't see him play much, if any, if we continue to see Kirk Cousins play the way that he normally plays, but it looks like Penix is picking up where he left off in college from a poise in the pocket perspective. He had a few plays where he obviously looked like a rookie QB, but the guy looked like a future starter in the NFL to me. And with all of that being said, guys, remember, this is just the preseason, and to me, the stories behind it all make it that much more interesting, especially for guys who I've watched throughout their college careers now get to do what they've been planning on, working on so hard for to accomplish, and that is playing in the NFL. But things could look very good for a player and then flip in the regular season, and also the opposite can be true. Someone may struggle in the preseason and look very, very good after that. All of these guys are young and they're going to need time to develop. And with that, let me know what you guys think about the NFL preseason. If you made it this far in the video,